We all know when you're on the tee box, we want to hit that golf ball that little bit further. We also want to hit more fairways and we want to lower your score. So we're talking driver today and we're talking about the second hole here at Waterfront. We want to get our scores lower. We want to hit it in the fairway, but we also want to hit it longer without doing much difference. And one thing we want to do to hit the ball further is people say, right, I need to turn a little bit more. So if I can turn that little bit more, if I can get my swing a little bit longer, then I'm going to hit that ball straighter and further. But you see straight away there, I lose balance, I lose control of the club face, and unfortunately I will lose a golf ball. So if I do that, I've tried to turn more because people have said if you turn a little bit more, get more swing in your backswing or more length in your backswing, you'll be able to hit that ball further because you'll have more speed. But what we start to see is people start to break down in that backswing. So we'll see people trying to get longer, we'll start to see they lose the connection here, this arm starts to fold, we then have more levers, and then we start to get extremely long. And then from there, we've got a lot of things. We've got to unhinge, our arms have got to come back down, we've got to get that all squared up and back down into impact. So there's a lot of things that are going to potentially go wrong. And we know the more levers we put in there, the more things we add in, the harder it gets. So what do we want to do? Well, the one thing I want you to be able to do is think about what is in contact with that club, and that is your hand. So this is your grip, and we want to make sure that you're getting the right levers and the right release point from those hands. So that's the biggest thing for me that we want to work on today in this golf lesson. And guys, if you're new to the channel, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. We give you golf tips, golf lessons daily, and we're also going to be having some live lessons on the channel very soon coming over winter. So obviously, what do I mean by obviously my wrist working properly? Well, a lot of times we'll see somebody maybe with a grip just like this, a strong grip. So we can see the Callaway logo here, we can see my right hand is underneath, I can see the palm. And what does that do to the club face? Well, what that will do is that will encourage that club face to close when it comes into impact. So we might start to see that you start to lose a lot of golf balls left. We lose a lot of speed. We're losing basically any kind of contact and control. The opposite thing we start to see is going, okay, well, I need to make sure that we get on top of that grip. So you can then see, again, my left hand, I can't see my golf glove anymore, and again I can see the top of that right hand. But if Bobby looks at the posture wise, what we often see from down the line is that right arm is well in front of the left. So you could probably see both arms there, you can see my left arm underneath, and what that will encourage us to do is return like that. So that's going to return with that club face open. So straight away I want to get a neutral grip, because a neutral grip is going to allow us to have the correct wrist hinge. So I'm going to be able to get that club to hinge, because we know in the backswing what we want to see is that we are going to get that nice set on that golf club. If I have a strong grip, for example, it's going to be very limited to how much I can hinge. So then we often see that we get a little bit short and around here. And how many golfers do we see in this position here? A very short backswing, a very closed club face at the top, and then from there you're trying to hit at the golf ball. So I've got to try and add speed, because you see there I've barely gone past halfway, and then we're really going to throw our hands at it, and that's the kind of impact position we see from that kind of grip. If I go the opposite way and we go to a weak grip, again, I'm very limited how far I can go there. But what we start to see here is you might actually get a lot further there, but we start to see that kind of position there. A cup wrist, club might get across the top there at the top of the backswing, and then from there we often see that the upper body works obviously first, the lower body starts to stall, and then we come down in that position there. So again, maybe not that extreme, but comment below if your golf ball goes a long way right. So obviously from there we're limited. So if we can get our wrist correct, if we can get into a position where I start to get that grip through my fingers, and there is training aids you can buy online, guys. So there is obviously training grips on there. I think Me and My Golf do a fantastic glove that you can actually use in competition, where it gives you the lines of where you want to be, and then obviously the pad of your hand here wants to sit on top. And ideally what we'll see there is 2 knuckles as I look down, so that's a nice neutral grip for me. And you'll see that my thumb actually sits down the right hand side of that grip. It's not on top, it's down the right hand side. For me, I interlock, so I bring those in, interlock, and then the pad of my right hand sits on the thumb, and you'll start to see how my thumb will then be down the left hand side of that grip. So again, not on top, not here. We are going to go on the edges of those. And again, you can start to get training grips, guys. So if you're somebody who's struggling with obviously getting your grip and you want to understand that better going into the winter, maybe go online and have a look if you can get a training grip put on one of your clubs, maybe one of your old clubs that we all know you have in the archives. They're always under the stairs or they're in the garage. Get one of those out, change the grip on there, and get down to your driving range and start to practice. Okay, can I get that neutral grip? Can I get that control that if I get a neutral grip, I can start to get that wrist hinge, which I know then will allow me to get into a nice strong position right here. And if we can get into that position here, again, you can see, yes, that's just a little bit short of a full swing, but when I'm swinging it at 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, we'll have that little bit more momentum, which everybody knows with my swing, it certainly goes a little bit past parallel. But from there, I have control that I've got my wrist working correctly. And then once we come down, if we're letting that club head now release, we can get that nice and square. You'll see that the club is, or the butt of the club is just a little bit ahead of that golf ball. And from there, we're putting pressure on there. Because how many times I see people with a strong grip who are trying to be the anti-left. So what do? They'll start to hit the old cover drive. In England, that is cricket. If you're in America, I'd say don't watch cricket, to be honest, because you'll probably... Softball, James has shouted in the background. So again, they're trying to hold that off. So again, they're trying to get that to start a little bit straighter. So the opposite we see, obviously, if we have that weak grip, we'll start to see people really try and release that club from here. So we'll see a little bit of casting, a little bit of fly fishing, which me and James are going for a lesson soon. That is worldwide, fly fishing, we can cover that. So they'll start to release from here. And then as they come in, you'll start to see, if anything, the handle of the club might be behind the golf ball and the club face is open. So this is what we see from Bobby. Again, that does happen a lot when we get Bobby on the channel. We see a bit of fly fishing. So Bobby might teach us, James, we never know. Yeah. The dream might be alive. Bobby might teach us something. So let's get in here and let's just put this into your routine. Once you've obviously practiced a little bit, you've got your neutral grip, we can start to obviously just have a few hinges as your practice, and then from there, bring it into a swing. And you can see there, a slight draw there, but straight up the middle. Started right of my target. That's drawn up the left-hand side. But I didn't really have to put much effort in there. I can see that there's a little bit more ball speed coming off that face. That's carried a long way past the first shot. And all that is doing is getting a neutral grip and knowing how we should hinge that golf club. We're not trying to turn more with the body. We're not trying to over-rotate. If we can get your grip and your hands working correctly, we can help you get good at golf.